What's going on, DMZ players? Today, as you can tell by the title, we're going to be going through the DMZ Season 3 overview here on the Call of Duty blog. This is easily the best and most important update we've had so far from DMZ. It's changed a lot about the game, which I really like. So first, we're going to go through everything in this blog that's being changed, and then afterwards, I'll give you my thoughts if you're interested in hearing them. And if you're interested in more DMZ tips, tricks, guides, videos about the game overall, make sure to sub to this channel. Season 3 actually looks really good, and I'm going to get back into playing DMZ since I haven't really played much since the launch of Season 2, but it looks like Season 3 is going to be really good for the game. And with the launch of Season 3 tomorrow on April 12th, I might start streaming a bit here on this YouTube channel, so make sure you are subbed. If you want to hang out in the stream, maybe play some games, do some missions together, I'm going to try getting into some more streaming here on the channel, and with the new season, I think it's the perfect time. So first things first, we're going to talk about barter. Now, barter is kind of a new trade system that's going to be available at buy stations. So to start off, it says outside of being important mission items, most of the collectible non-lethal items in DMZ will have another purpose once the Season 3 update is live. So this to me thinks of things like bandages, things like toothpaste, canned foods, rations, all those sorts of things, as it says here, that are mission items, things that usually, deliver to dead drops, but are non-lethal, are going to be useful in Season 3 with this barter system. So buy stations are now going to have the option, in addition to buying gear and weapons, for bartering. This is where you're going to use recipes. Now, this is basically instructions to your operator, which include a component list. So this could, and I'm just speculating, be things like 3 toothpaste, 2 canned foods, 1 gold bar, and you get something out of this barter system. So it says at the start of Season 3, some bartering recipes will be available for most of the new plate carriers and backpacks, which we will get into in a second, as well as kill streaks, self-revive kits, and keys. So these are the things you're going to be able to barter for and get out of these buy stations if you have the right items for the recipe. But then it also says each exclusion zone has its own set of barter options across its buy stations. So Al Mazrah, Building 21, Ashika Island are all going to have different sets of barter options. It says there are dozens of item trade combinations that will launch with Season 3, meaning anyone can memorize these recipes, share them with squad mates, and search for specific items to load up on loot. So there's going to be a lot of these, but you will be able to memorize these, so it doesn't seem like they're going to change. So if you have a good memory, or you just want to write things down on a notepad next to you on your desk or at your gaming setup, you can write these down so you know what to look for loot-wise without having to go back to buy stations and check what you need every time. So I do think this barter system is going to be really good, especially with the ability to create things like keys and maybe mission items. I think overall this could be really good. Then we get into the contraband workbench, which is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Basically, you're going to be able to use a little bit of cash, so you're going to pay this nominal cash fee, and you're going to be able to add attachments that you have unlocked for that weapon platform onto your contraband weapons. This is one step in the right direction to being able to fully customize contraband weapons in my eyes, but we're slowly getting there. It says operators can also remove them piece by piece, so you're going to be able to customize your contraband weapons based on what you have unlocked for that weapon platform, which is obviously how the whole attachment system works in the game of Modern Warfare 2. This I think is pretty cool because sometimes you get a contraband weapon where maybe you want to add a scope or you want to take off, whatever it is that's on there. So I do think this is going to be cool, and this is also going to be right near the buy stations. Then we get into active duty operator slots, something that I think is super situational but can be really useful. So at the start of the season, you're going to have 3 active duty operator slots, which equates to 3 separate operators that have their own on-soldier items. So as you can see in the image, they have 2 of the 3. There's also a 4th one over here with the little scroll arrow, so I'm guessing you're gonna be able to unlock more similar to your insured weapon slots, but essentially you can have your own separate loot on each character. So on your first one, you can have, let's say, a 3-plate armor vest, a big backpack, a gas mask, and on your other one, you can have nothing. So if, let's say, you want to do a really high stakes mission, you can choose whether you want to go in super geared or you want to go in empty. But it does say here that your contraband weapons are going to be shared between active duty operators, but not your keys. So this is super important. So if you exfil with 2 contraband weapons, you can use it on either one of your characters here. But if you exfil with, let's say, a mission key here on your first character, you won't be able to do that mission with their second character because you won't have the key available. So this is interesting because it kind of gives you more key slots overall, but it also makes it so if your second character is super geared, but you have the key on character 1, then you can't use your geared character for that mission if you need that key. So it adds a little bit more differentiation and kind of can make it a little bit harder or a little bit easier depending on how you want to look at it. So overall, it is a change to DMZ, but might not be that different if you just pretty much do whatever you want each run, and it doesn't really matter. But you could have a character that's maybe built for Al Mazrah, a character that's built for Building 21, and so on. Now we get into the new equipment, which are plate characters, backpacks, and the rebreather. I think this is the best so far they've done for DMZ, and we're going to talk about this more after I go over it. So the new backpacks, we're gonna have the secure and the scavenger backpacks. And this is a little look at them, secure on the right over here and scavenger on the left. So secure backpacks, as the name suggests, secures items between runs. So basically anything that's non-contraband and non-on-soldier items are secured in your inventory and won't convert to XP upon extraction. Plus, and this is in bold right here, let me move so you can see this, items in a secure backpack are kept to that active duty soldier if they are eliminated in an extraction zone. So things you have in this backpack, even if you die, you will get to keep. I don't know if you get to keep the backpack itself. You might not get to keep the backpack. You might have to go back and get another one, but you will keep all the items that were in there. So if you had any mission keys in there and you die, you don't have to worry about losing those, which is really good. And I do like this change. I think it could be a little bit cheesy because it takes away from that more hardcore, like you're scared if you're gonna die thing, because you know everything in there is good. But I think what they're going for is the more casual audience, right? This isn't Tarkov. This isn't the hardcore audience. So as it says here, you need to continue doing missions and tasks despite getting knocked down sometimes. So I do think this is really good for the audience they're going for here in DMZ. And you will be able to barter for the secure backpack. So you'll be able to get this crafted up at a buy station if you use the barter. And for scavenger backpacks, I like this as well. They're taking out the third weapon slot, which is usually found in medium and large backpacks, and adding additional item slots. So adding an additional 2, 3, 4 item slots is really good, as it says here, for completing missions with a ton of valuable items that you need to be picked up. So I do really like this. If you don't really need to carry an extra, weapon in your backpack, this is going to be really good for doing those missions that require you to put things at dead drops, or if you're really trying to, get items to craft for these recipes. Then we get into another part, which I think even gives more depth to the game, which I also really like, is the new plate carriers. So there's going to be 4 new carriers. There's going to be the tempered, the revive, the comms, and the stealth. This is actually really, really cool and something that I'm really happy they're adding into DMZ. So a 3-plate medic vest is going to grant you faster revives on squad mates and faster self-revive when using a self-revive kit. So this is not this doesn't count, I guess, with the I can't even think of what it's called anymore, the revive pistol. I guess it's only when using self-revive kits. So if you use a revive pistol on yourself, it won't make you any faster. But overall, it's a helpful, especially I guess if you're playing with a squad of friends. So one of you having this medic this medic plate carrier, I think is really good. The 3-plate comms vest is like a signal booster. It has a few benefits. So it increases the duration of UAV technology. So using either the kill streak, the UAV towers, or the enemy radios dropped by AI, so that'll increase how long they last. And it also makes these function as advanced UAVs, so you'll be able to see the player's direction and location, which is actually really, really good. So this seems like it could be a really good vest if you tend to run, kill streaks and go to UAV towers around the map. And also as another bonus, and this might have to be nerfed, honestly, overall, this vest, because it's pretty busted. The vest also gives you an audio cue when enemy operators are close to you, like an auditory version of the high alert perk. So this is pretty cool. It basically has another perk built into it on top of having longer and advanced UAVs with other UAV tech. And as it says here, could be great for solo players. I think this is huge for solo players to kind of give you a little bit of an upper hand against duos and trios. But the only difference is if one of the duos or trios has this vest, you kind of lose that upper hand. But I do think having this extra intel of the comms vest is really huge for solo players. And the stealth plate carrier comes with a built-in ghost perk, which obviously keeps you off enemy radars. So this could also be good for solos. How often do you kind of get pinged by a UAV? You kind of got to weigh out, the pro and con there. But stealth plate carrier is pretty cool. And then also it says to look out for armor satchels coming back during the season. Then we get into a new field upgrade, which is the rebreather. We saw this in one of the raids. Essentially, you can use this to stay underwater longer and kind of re-up your oxygen. I think this is really cool if you like to swim around on, something like Ashika Island or even on Al Mazrah, but more on Ashika. Overall, I think this can be useful and has its place, but probably not something you're going to use too often unless you're doing a mission that requires you to go in the water. Then we get into the skeleton key, which I think is another huge thing for DMZ. It caters to the casual audience and makes the game a little bit easier, but I also think it's good for the way they're building this game. So basically, the skeleton key can unlock nearly any door in DMZ. The only door it can unlock is the access to Building 21, although it can unlock the doors within Building 21. So this is super huge for the game. Like I said, it makes it a little bit catered towards more casual players, but this is good because if you can get this skeleton key, then you don't have to worry about getting specific keys you might need for a mission, which can kind of slow down your progress. And then it says these keys can be only created through a special barter system recipe. So the only way to get a skeleton key is for doing a barter system recipe. Then we get more information on what to expect with new missions. So season 3 of DMZ is not going to reset your mission progress. Honestly, I don't even care if it would have reset mission progress characters, because I didn't even get that far because I pretty much stopped playing a week after season 2 dropped. There's also going to be a new faction with 3 mission tiers at launch and 2 more coming mid-season, so even more content if, let's say, you already pretty much maxed out all of your missions before season 3. There's also going to be new bosses as well as something completely redacted happening mid-season, so this is going to give you more challenges and more rewards, so maybe some sort of in-season event or something that was going to be happening, which should be pretty cool. And then, as we know, the supply run contract is coming to the game. So basically you can do these supply run contracts and it's going to basically get you all geared up. If, let's say, you just died, you drop in, do a supply run contract. It's lower stakes than a safe cracker. And overall, it's just going to get you some good things. So all your operators going to need to do is find wooden crates, and then you can take all the items there to re-gear. Then another big thing that we didn't know about previously, but birds in the sky. There's going to be a new vehicle, which is the heavy chopper, which isn't new to the game, but is new to DMZ. And then also going to be a new exfil option. There's actually 2 new exfil options in the game, which is really cool, and I definitely think it's going to be big for it. So first of all, you can use this heavy chopper. All you have to do is find the fuel, which is around the map at the airport. So you're gonna have to go to the airport, find the special fuel for the heavy chopper, and then you can basically, as it says here, fly outside the map boundaries, which is how you're gonna exfiltrate at any time for free. So once you get out of bounds, a countdown will appear and then you can exfil. So that's super cool. So if you find this stuff, if you find yourself near the airport, you can find this special fuel, go to the heavy chopper and then leave. And there's also another new feature at the buy station known as the private exfil. So you can buy essentially an exfil, which is going to be available at an unused exfil point for that match on the map. So it's basically an extra escape route, which is pretty cool. I don't know how much it's going to cost. I would assume it's going to be an expensive thing to purchase at a buy station, because you're basically getting a, like it says, a private exfil. You could probably still get exfil sniped if, let's say, it spawns near someone, or, you know, people can run up to you or drive up to you, fly up to you and probably kill you and then steal your exfil. But this is actually another really cool thing. If you're in a pinch late in the game and the gas is coming in, you can hit a buy station, buy a private exfil if you have enough cash and get out. But overall, this season looks really good for DMZ. And now I want to give you my opinions on it if you're interested in hearing. Essentially, the big thing I see from this, and something that we knew with the DMZ and just how overall they were building this game, is it's obviously the more casual game for this genre, which I don't necessarily mind. It doesn't exactly cater towards me, because as someone who's played the game like Tarkov, I really like that hardcore feeling. I like being afraid that if I die, I'm going to lose all my gear. It kind of gives you a bit of adrenaline. I think that's super cool. But in a game like DMZ, I kind of feel like I'm playing Warzone, right? Like if I die, whatever, I'll just drop back in, I'll find some contraband weapons, and I should be able to hold my own, but it's not a big deal if I die, although it can be annoying if you're trying to do a mission. I like the content they're adding. I really like the new plate carriers. I think that's a really cool, interesting feature. I like the buy stations and the workbenches with the recipes. I also think that's really cool. And overall, I think this is really good for the game, and is going to be really good at converting more Warzone players into DMZ players. I think that, you know, like I said, they're doing good at catering to this casual audience, so I do like what they're adding into the game. I'm looking forward to them continuing to build upon this by adding more depth to the game like they did with the plate carriers and the backpacks now. I think there's so many more things they can continue to add that'll make this game more deep, but doesn't necessarily have to be too hardcore. Either way, I'm excited to play some DMZ with the launch of Season 3. If you're interested in more DMZ content, tips, tricks, guides, overall coverage of the game, make sure to sub to this channel. We're on the road to 3K subs. I appreciate everyone who's supported so far, and if you haven't hit that sub button, it's an absolutely free way to support. But with that being said, I will see you all in the next video.